We have a quorum.
Sorry. Yes, we do. If what you were asking was, do we have quorum? The answer is still yes.
Is the answer is, do we have everybody?
Yes, I believe we do.
Okay. Let me just. Okay, thank you.
Yep,
Um, good afternoon, everyone. I'm gonna call the meeting to order. Dawn, could you do roll call, please?
I can. I also want to remind everyone that we are live streaming and recording this meeting, and both of those have already started. Heidi DeWingert,
Here.
Commissioner Mascara Bruno,
Here.
Sarah Sanders,
Here.
Lisa Tepper-Bathe.
Here.
Thank you. We do have a quorum in attendance for the meeting.
Thank you. The first item on the agenda is the staff compensation related to 2026 budget. And Anthony, you're gonna present?
Sure. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. It's feeling like fall. I hope you're enjoying. I'm happy to present the personnel budget for FY 2026. We did provide you a memo, in advance so that we could lay out some of the thinking that has gone into next year's budget relating to salaries and personnel. So just very high level, and I'd be happy to, take questions or have a conversation. But basically, we're looking at a draft budget in totality, approximately 48 million, 4% decrease over the current year. And we're looking for about 148 staff positions, which is the same as this year. So we haven't asked for any new headcount. We're at about 139 as of the end of this year. And we're getting some requests for additional positions in the business areas. And so we'd like to maintain the headcount at 148. And we budget those additional positions in, but we don't budget them in for the full year because at the moment, we don't have anything anticipated as of Jan 1, but as the year goes on, we may post those additional positions. In terms of how it breaks out by salary and benefits, you can see there's a $1.6 million increase, which is attributable to a couple of things. One, of course, is that fringe, which is pension and medical being the primary factors, and those did go up by 3%, which is about close to $700,000. And then we have 756,000, which is about 4.5% of the salary budget for this year. We're adding 4.5% on, which is, again, a starting point for our conversation today for merit increases. And that is basically, there's a little more additional for the new positions, and then there's a little bit for promotions. And other than that, the bulk of the increase are these two sort of items, one being fringe and the other one being merit increases. And so in terms of merit increases, we did look around. We checked with, I think there's a couple of bargaining units in the state that have recently entered into agreements for about a 4.5% increase. And then, of course, Social Security, which, at the moment, we haven't heard anything because of the shutdown, but I think they're anticipating 2.7% COLA. And then we checked with some of the other quasis and the ones we heard back from. They're similar to us in that they provide a range of increases for individuals based upon their performance. So what we're recommending this year is asking the board, starting out with the 4.5% pool, and then within that, allocating it by individual based upon performance. And that's how we do it every single year. I've broken it out a little bit for you this year to show you that the increases could vary anywhere from 3 to 8%. We've heard time and time again from folks that, from employees that, you know, it would be great if we could reward extraordinary performance differently than we reward average performance. And, so we've taken that into account in terms of the range, knowing that the average percentage will probably still be around 4.5%. I'm happy to take any questions from the committee at this time.
Nandini, one question going up a little bit, and we have talked about this before, but every time I find it somehow surprising. The fringe and FICA is 80% of salaries. Is that, and Sarah, maybe you can speak to that. Is that standard in state government?
I think it is. Maybe go ahead, Nadine.
No, I was going to say, sure. I'd be happy to start by saying it's not standard across the country, and I think every state has very different pension plans, but it is standard in terms of Connecticut. We're not charged any differently than the other agencies around the state who are part of the pension plan.
I think it's partly because we have unfunded pensions. So they're I think charged also for that kind of debt payment.
Which has been going down as the governor has been putting additional revenues into it. But yeah, that is a cost, which is why I think we take such great pains to ensure that, when we're adding, headcount, that we're staying within a certain number and, we're being conservative and things like that.
So is that to say, Nandini, that we are not paying just the pension costs of our actual CHFA retirees? Sarah, we're paying into the bigger pension fund. Is that right?
I would
think
say
that's right. Yeah. It's like an overhead calculation. And to be honest, I think they took it off of a couple of entities, Yukon Health Center and Connecticut Airport Authority, because both of them were arguing it was crushing their competitiveness or whatever. And I think the general fund's picking up a portion of that now. But I think quasis that are on the pension plan are still getting the full load. But I'm not an expert in this area, but I know that Yukon Health Center, I'm pretty sure Connecticut Airport Authority got some relief.
So that would be interesting to look into. I wonder, Nandini, if you could connect with the airport authority, with your peers there, and ask them about that. That might be interesting for us to know how that happened. Because I think in a previous discussion of this problem, a lot of that is tier 1 debt, correct, Sarah?
Yeah.
And we don't have, I think, any tier 1 retirees, is what I remember the answer being a couple years ago.
Yeah, I'd be happy to have that conversation. My understanding was that there was a bill a couple of years ago, but I didn't think it actually passed, but maybe.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on it either, so.
I'll find out for sure.
Okay.
I'd be happy to do that.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Nandini, the overall decrease to the total revenue budget, is that interest rate related mostly?
No, I don't believe so. I think that we've been able to, so we did go back to the board last month with an increase to the 2025 budget. If you recall, it was around funding a capital needs assessment.
Right.
But no, I think we've been able to look at, we've, added some money for training and things like that, but there are some areas, like I think, you know what? I should probably get Hazim on the phone because I might have to phone a friend. I'm not 100% sure on that answer. I don't want to give you the wrong answer. May I have him join?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, a friend, that's cute.
I'm going to, I just asked him to join, and I'm going to look at the summary that I have in front of me. Actually, let me just see here.
Yeah, it's hard because we only have bits and pieces.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
draft budget is going to be presented in October, but
Yeah, that,
I hear
we
you.
can answer it then also. I'm just curious.
No, it's a good question. Let's see, 48, yeah. 2 million.
The 10 people, give or take, that we budget but we don't have right now, are you actively seeking people, or is that's just in case?
So it's actually, is it 10? It's 9, but
Okay.
yeah, close. No, we don't have positions crafted for them. And again, we haven't budgeted fully for those 9 positions.
Understand.
Taken, yeah, a small share of the,
Okay, so
Yeah.
we're not seeking people we can't find.
not yet, no.
Okay.
Well, the way I understand this is you're saying the range of increases will be 3 to 8%, an average of 4.5, but you're saying all of those include cost of living and merit, and you don't really delineate how much is cost of living, although you note the cost of living for Social Security is 2.7.
Yeah,
If we were to apply that, then the people getting 3% are almost getting no merit increase. Those would be the lower performers, but
agreed.
a performer might be getting in excess of 5, which
Yep.
so I think it shakes out pretty well.
Agree.
Well, I think on the 3% to 8%, we did a big adjustment to salaries. On the state, we have about a 2.5% COLA and another 2% merit increase. So going to 8% seems a little high, which we'll need to take in consideration. What
But
we
we're
have
talking
done.
about average of 4.5. I mean,
Right.
that 8% for me is an outlier, right? Is,
Absolutely.
a superstar.
Superstar, extraordinary. And it could
Right.
be just in that one year that they've done something extraordinary and we wanted to recognize that. It could be a one-time payment as well that doesn't affect their comp year over year over year so that it doesn't compound. It could be a one-time 2 or 3%
Like
just in recognition of
a
their
bonus, yeah,
extraordinary work. I mean, we don't call it that, but
right.
yes, in essence.
Well, and I think what we have to worry about is that our competition in terms of an alternate marketplace for our staff is private banking, right?
Right.
Rather than
Correct.
other government agencies. So Heidi, you can speak to that. But
Yep.
I think a lot of our staff are already accepting lower salaries than they would get in the private sector.
Right.
For whatever set of reasons, I think often out of a dedication to our mission, which is great. But I do worry about the ones who would be the highest performers if we're not at least stretching a little bit for them. But maybe you can provide some commentary, Heidi, on what that would look like outside.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If we want to keep competitive in the private sector, then there's no such caps or governors, so to speak. So that's why I agree with the 8%, just in case, kind of needed and necessary, but with an average of 4.5 all in, I think we achieved the same what we need to.
I think the difference with the state is pretty much everybody got 4.5, regardless of their performance, to be honest. Where under your formula, a lot of people are going to be getting less than 4.5, 50% maybe. So I think your system just has a much more pay per performance than the current state system.
Well, that would argue for us to go higher.
Well,
Or not, because I mean, it's still government entity, and when you come to work for a government entity, you still make your choices.
Okay, but Caleb, in your organization, what what's your practice then?
Oh, we don't do practice. We are in the government. It's
Right, so your average is 4.5, regardless of
about, yeah.
merit, correct?
Yeah, COLA and merit.
Right. But total 4.5,
Yes.
yes.
I mean, the state has a system where if a employee is not performing, they don't get a annual increase at all.
Okay.
So there is performance measures.
Right.
Hazim has joined. Hazim, can you explain to the committee the primary reasons why our budget amount, total budget, not just salary, has dropped by, you know, it has gone down to 48 million?
Oh yeah, so one of the biggest driver, of course, is the CapEx.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, if you remember, one of the things that we were very concerned about was the state of the building and the need to set aside certain dollars to ensure that the machine and the HVAC all run smoothly. And then we were also continuing to fund certain IT improvements that was required for us to comply with new reporting requirements. So that's one. And then the other thing too is we are seeing and we are capturing the changes that the state, when they released the new fringe, if you remember that last year there was a lot of discussion about how the state was able to reduce the pension costs because they changed the way that they reinvested. And then last but not least, we also are taking a much closer look because we always get questions from Sarah about why we generally have room in the budget, and we typically like to have some cushion to absorb any ramp up in production. But what we have seen over a number of years has been we were able to ramp up without, having to access or spend more money. So not to say we've been frugal, but we've just been very efficient. So one of the things that I did tell the budget managers that we are going to look a bit closer in terms of how we size up the budget for each department so that we can leave some room for cushion to deal with any unexpected expenses, but we don't want to overinflate just for the sake of having a cushion.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Do we need to, is this for our information today, right? And then it's going to go to the board with the budget.
I think in the past, we have voted to recommend it.
Recommend,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
So I'd be glad to make a motion for the committee to recommend this to this proposal to the board.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Okay, motion carries. Can I have today a motion to approve the minutes for the July 31st meeting?
Yeah, Don, could you bring those up on the screen real quick? Thank you.
Okay, I'll move it.
Thank you.
Second.
You okay? Comments or questions?
Nope, second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carries. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Thank you all
Thank you, Lisa.
Okay.
very, very much.
Nandini.
Very
Thank
much.
you,
Thank you.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Aye.